Hello friends, welcome back to my YouTube channel. I'm back with a new video. In this video, we will see how we can add watermark to our renders in Blender. Here you can see guys, I have a very simple scene. If I click to render view, here is a scene with a bottle. So friends, we will apply watermark through compositing. First of all, what we have to do, we have to hit render and render this scene out. So friends, as you can see, our rendering is complete. Now we need a text which we want to apply as a watermark. So for that, we will go to scene and we will click on this icon to create a new scene. So there will be a little pop-up. So we will click on this copy setting. By clicking on this, it will create a new scene. It also copy the setting of this scene like resolution, render engine, and all the related settings of this scene. So we will click on this icon and copy settings. So now we have two scenes in our Blender file. One is a scene 1.001 and second is scene 1. Alright, so we will go to our scene 1.001 and rename it as scene 2. So now we need a text. To add a text, we will go to add and text. So here you can see we have a text in our scene. We will change the alignment to world to view. So it will align to our view. Alright. So friends, you can type whatever text you want as a watermark. So I will press tab key. I type Blender. So I want Blender text as a watermark on my render. So the text is selected. I will go to a object data properties. Like you can see text property here. So in this text property, I will go to paragraph alignment. So horizontally it is set to left. I will change it to center. So horizontally our text is aligned to center, and for vertically I also change it to middle. So now our text is aligned in center. So now we need a camera. I will go to add and add a camera. In this side screen, I will press 0 to get a camera view. This is a camera. I will go to top view, press G and X. So I will place my camera here. And I also select my camera and go to camera icon here. As you can see, the camera type is right now perspective. I will change it to orthographic. We have orthographic scale option here. By sliding it left to right, we can adjust the zoom in and zoom out of the camera. So I will set it to 22. 22 is fine for me. Friends, our text is ready. Now what we will do, we will select a font. So to select a font, we will go to this text icon, and in this text icon we have a font option. So in regular, we will click this file icon. It will open the font library of your PC. So we have a lot of font. We can select any font we want. So I'm selecting this. You can select whatever you want. So I will change it and select this. And I also have transform option here. So I will just increase the size of the font using this size option here. This size is good for me. Now what we have to do, we have to duplicate our text according to our need. You can duplicate your text as much as you want in your watermark. So I will press Shift D to duplicate and in Z direction. And I also press Control key to snap. Again I press Shift D. I duplicate it 7 times. Now I will select all the text and press R key. So by pressing R key, they will be rotating as median point. I will change it to a individual origin and I will rotate it. So I will rotate it 40 degree. So our text is ready. Our watermark text is ready. What we have to do, we have a cycle render engine is selected. We will go to film option, and in film option, we will tick this transparent. Okay. So now we go to render view. So as you can see, our text is showing in black color and our background is transparent, and the resolution is 1080 into 9020, which is the same resolution as scene 1. Now you can select the noise threshold according to your need. So I will select it as PNG and click to RGBA and color depth 16. Now I render it again. Okay, so my rendering is complete. Now I will go to scene 1. Alright, here we have already rendered our scene. It's here. So now what we have to do, we have to combine these two scene output into one. So we will do it through compositing. We will click on this compositing tab. I already did some compositing, so I have some nodes here. If you come here first time, you have to tick this use nodes icon. You will be having these two nodes, render layer and composite node. So what do you have to do? You have to press Shift A and search for viewer node. With this node, what we can do, we can see the live changes we are doing through compositing. Okay, so I already have this node, viewer node. So what I do, I will click on this image icon and connect it to a viewer. Okay, and make sure to turn on backdrop. You can see the render as a backdrop. So what I do, I will disable the backdrop from here, and here I also have one compositor window, and I enable backdrop here. And these both windows are linked. So we also have nodes here, which I just zoomed in and put them down. Okay, so we have this render layer, and we have composite and viewer. So shift right click, I will just join both of them. So what you have to do, shift D to duplicate render layer. So now we have two render layer. In this render layer, we have selected scene 1, and in this render layer, we will select scene 2, where we have this watermark text. Okay, we will put it here. We will press shift A for alpha over node. Alpha over node we will place in between of this. So by placing alpha over node in between of render layer and output, our render become totally white, because it is the top layer and it is the bottom layer. Okay, so we want our render in the bottom and our watermark is on top. So what we will do, we will click our second render layer to this bottom option. Okay, so as you can see live here, we have our render, we have our watermark over our render, but our text looks very dark. So how we can control it? Its transparency, we can control it with this factor icon. As you can see, it is set to 1. If we change the factor value, as you can see, the transparency of our text become lighter. You can set it according to your need. I think 0.5 or 0.6 will be fine for watermark. So I will set it to 0.5. So now what we have to do, we have to render it again. As you can see, I will click on render and view render. We have this render on second slot. I will go to slot 1 and render it again. So in the beginning, it will render a scene 1. After completing the scene 1 rendering, it will render scene 2. After the completion of scene 2, it will combine both of the scene, and we have the final result here. As you can see guys, we have successfully added a watermark to our renders in Blender. Okay, if you want to change anything, if you want to change the font size or font arrangement, you can directly go to scene 2 and arrange your fonts or rotation or whatever you want to change. Like I want to change the font, so I will click on the font and go to font properties. As you can see, I just change the font of this center one and just save it. So I will go to scene 1 and render it again. So it will render from scene 1, then from scene 2, and after the completion of scene 2, it will combine both of the layers. Then we can see our changes. Alright friends, here you can see I just rendered again, and after the rendering, you can see the changes which I did in scene 2. So friend, it is the video. If you found this video helpful, make sure you like the video and subscribe to my YouTube channel. So I will meet you in the next video. Goodbye.